all those guys knew, like, they knew Yao. They're like, yeah, like some, like, black, strong.
Hey yo,
They all,
oh
yeah,
my
I
God.
swear, they all knew Yao at PSG. They're all young guys. Episode 3 with my bros, the OG3 pod. We are back again. Boys, how we feeling, man? How we living?
Vitamin water.
Vitamin water, man. Clutch.
Man,
That's
pure
good.
water, pure water, pure hydration. Gotta hydrate your system, you heard?
Oh,
Nah,
man.
man, chilling, bro.
Everything good, bro? Practice today? Oh, yeah, you didn't have practice.
Nah, we
today,
were
did you?
off. We were off.
Mhm.
We do Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
But how are those practices, though? Like, how does that even work? I'm confused.
So like everybody has their own square, and that like before you get there, everything is set up. So, they got the cones set up or the hurdles or whatever. They got the bands, the poles, and then the day before, they'll send you out your like the workout and stuff, so you know what you're gonna do. Then you get there, they check your temperature. Got to wash your hands, take off your mask, get your shoes on, go straight to your box. And then you start warming up, and then the coach will be in the middle, and then he'll direct you to everything you're supposed to do, man. But we running like dogs, bro.
I bet y'all are, man. I bet y'all are.
Jeez.
How you like those practices though? Does it seem like is it awkward?
I mean, nah, cause like everybody wants to get back, So it's better than us just sitting at home trying to find someplace to train at a park. You know what I mean? Like we get to go to the training facility, perfect field, and just get our stuff in that way.
So if there was a spike in your temperature when they check when they check it, what do they do after that? Take it to the hospital?
Gotta go home, boy. Yeah, gotta go home.
14 days in the hole, boy.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, like 14.
Yeah.
They'll just send you home.
What's the temperature that they send you home at?
If it's over 98.6 or something like that.
Yeah. I'd be sick if my shit was higher than that, bro.
They send you home, bro. Hold on one sec.
But do you feel like? Oh, you squeezed one away. I was gonna ask if you felt like the. Oh no, I was gonna ask, bro. Did you feel like those workouts are like effective? Like you guys aren't playing together though, right? Like you guys can't do like a possession drill, like a 4v4. So it's just you doing it on your own, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, you can make the workout wild if you want to.
True.
And I mean, the way that it's set up, I mean, for me, it's been real good. I've been able to push myself. I feel like I'm getting fitter and fitter. So,
are there any talks about when the games are going to start up again, or are you just still up? Yeah, just no idea still, man. Damn,
up in the air, bro. Waiting game.
But yeah, man. Let's get into it. So I know we touched a little bit about playing overseas last episode. I just want to pretty much. I forgot a couple of details that I wanted to share, so I'm gonna just start with that. Going back to my playing experience when I was, growing up and coming up as like, I remember when I was I think it was 13 or no, I was 14. I had just got back from FC Metz. I was home for I think like 4 or 5 months. Then I get a call from my dad's cousin, this guy named Bill Newer. He's like a licensed agent in Switzerland. And he said that his friend had connections in England or something like that. So my dad was like, yeah, I mean, if the opportunity is there for Lester to go to England, we'll love that. Like, that's a dream, to be on it's like an EPL team. So a couple of days later, the guy calls me. He's like, yeah, Newcastle wants to send you for a tryout. So I was like, oh, man, like that's going to be crazy. So then my dad and I have to go out to Newcastle the first day. I didn't know what to expect, so I was wearing like my full Region 1 outfit. I don't know what I was doing. I was looking crazy. I had on the full blue Region 1 kit, thinking about to just hop into practice. I walk in the locker room, everyone's just like staring at me like, why is this guy wearing this? And then the equipment guy came down. He's like, no, bro, you're not going to play in that. Like, put that in your bag. Put that in your bag. So anyway, boom, I was playing with the U14 team. We had a couple practices, things went well. Then I trained with the U17s for a little bit there. Things went well too. And then it came to a point where like they wanted to sit down with my dad and myself and my family to see what we can do to like have me stay. And it came down to a thing where they wanted to move my entire family to England. And my dad was like, nah, like he can stay, but we have a life back in like America that we have to contain. So
bro.
yeah,
Man.
it just
Not
didn't
everybody
happen,
can just relocate like that.
right,
Nah,
right.
man.
It was tough, man. So, but the crazy thing about that whole experience was that the last day before I flew back, Glenn went with the first team. They're like, you can come to a first team practice and
I
just
remember that.
yeah, bro. So when I
remember
walked in the locker room, I was greeted by Oberfemi Martins. He was my locker like roommate. Like he like showed me. We had breakfast together, and then Gucci Anye was there at the time. He came and sat down with us. We were all just chatting, talking it up and stuff. And then after that, we went back to the locker room. We changed, went outside, and I guess it was their regen day. So the starting players, Michael Owen was there too. Like he was like on his own, like just doing some finishing stuff. And then I remember it was me, that guy, I think it's Kieran Dyer, that light skinned guy. Dyer. Yeah. So it was me, him, and a couple other guys. We did like a small sided like 4v4, like all like the bench players and stuff. Bro, it was crazy. I was like, yo, like I'm looking down the field and I see Michael Owen like finishing a volley. I look over, I see Gucci Onyewu like bodying some dude in the corner. As like a young boy to see those guys who like we used to look up to. That I know personally, like Martins was a guy that I used to like think he was a god, man. Martins and Eto was my two African guys I really look up to. So when I got that chance to just like, be surrounded by those guys and like learn from them that little bit of time that I had, it was amazing. And then after that, the team got like a jersey. They all signed it and they gave it to me as like a parting gift. And yeah, I mean that was one of the experiences there. And then I did the whole France thing I told you guys about, like Marseille. Marseille, I was there for that year and a half. When I was at Bordeaux, so after I left Marseille, when I came back healthy again that year after, when I went to PSG, and I just shit the bed completely. So
yeah.
so peep this. When I went
wait, Les.
Yo.
Was this before or after we played them in that tournament? PSG.
So funny that you mentioned that. They had just played against DC United in South Africa for some tournament. So all those guys knew, like they knew Gyau. They're like, yeah, like some like black, strong.
Hey yo.
They all, yeah, I swear they all knew Gyau at PSG, the young guys. But when I went to Bordeaux, man, that was an experience too, because that team that I was playing with had like Salif Sane, Lamine Sane, who's playing for I think Schalke or his brother plays for Orlando City, I think. And a couple other guys that are on that team. And then, yeah, bro. Exactly. The big, tall Senegalese guy.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was there for 3 months. So it was the thing where, that whole visa, having the players stay, international spots thing. I was on the border between the second team and the first team, and they wanted me to stay with the second team just to, get used to the whole French system, just to be there. I remember going to a practice, bro. They had a practice scrimmage. Back then, you know who was there? Marouane Chamakh and Gourcuff. I remember stepping onto the field and I see Chamakh. Back then, Chamakh was the man, bro. He was like,
I remember.
Yeah, he was on one. But yeah, we played like a little like inter squad scrimmage with those guys, and like, bro, the quality of those guys was crazy. Even there, I was like, I don't know if I might need a little bit more time.
Yeah. So like, so like just for like the young kids watching, like, what's your mindset when you're about to step onto the training field with big guys like that? What's going through your head at that time?
Man, that's a great question, Joe. What's going through my head is how can I? Well, honestly, my truthful answer is how can I not embarrass myself? Like,
yeah, bro, that's real. It's real.
Yeah, that's the real thing.
But let me stop you there. Let me stop you there though. If you went back in time, would you have had that same mindset going in, or would you have went in with a different mentality?
Never. I would have went in with the mentality that I'm on this field for a reason. So I have to show myself. Like, I didn't understand that, like, we're on the same field for a reason. We're not, I didn't just happen to hop onto the field and join this practice match. They invited me to come play. So I didn't have that confidence though. Like, that thing that I was lacking. Because when you see guys like that, you're almost like starstruck. Like when I seen Gorkub, I was like, dang, like that's Johan Gorkub. Oh wow, that's Shamak. You know, seeing these guys like that. So I didn't like fully believe that I'll be able to hang. But granted, you know, the inter-squad scrimmage went well, things went good. And then I left Bordeaux, and when I went from Bordeaux, and I jumped around to like 4 or 5 League One clubs. I visited Lille. I don't know if you know this kid, Joe. His name is Sami Ajayi. You know Sami Ajayi from Jersey?
Yeah.
Bro, when I
Ghanaian
pulled
boy.
up to Lille, yes, exactly. When I pulled up to Lille, I go into my dorm. I'm thinking, bro, this is in northern France. I haven't talked to Sami Ajayi in years, like since Region 1 camp. I go in my door. I put my bags down. I'm going to the lunchroom. Bro, Sami Ajayi walks out the room. He's like, yo, I was like, Sammy? Yeah, in Lille, France, bro, randomly.
Bro,
I swear,
small
like,
world.
small world. I'm like, wow, Sammy's here too. So we're both on trial there. And yeah, at that time, Lille had Origi was there when I was there. Lucas Digne, who's on, I think, Everton now. He was on the academy back then with those guys.
Wow.
So I was training with those guys. But yeah, it didn't work out. Like I just wasn't at the level that I was prior to my knee injury. And I didn't have that confidence anymore. Like I didn't believe in myself. Granted, I probably still could I could have shown myself more, but I was like in a shell. I was like scared. I was hesitant. You know when you have that confidence on the ball and you just go in that guy.
You don't think,
you don't care. You don't even think about it. Right?
You're in the zone at that point.
The complete zone. But when I got the ball, the first thing I wanted to do was get it off my foot.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to lose it. I was just trying to play safe. But playing safe in a area like that is not gonna get you nowhere. Like they already like if you're going into a League One club academy, you have to be that much better than everyone that's already there because the whole process of getting an American player to France is a whole big deal. You know, they're not gonna do that for any player.
Right.
So I didn't show them enough for them to keep me. So I went to Lille. From Lille, I went to Rennes. Rennes, the team that Dembele came from.
Yeah.
I don't remember Dembele being there during the time, but I remember Decore, the guy from Watford.
Yeah.
He was the one. Yeah, he was the one that I remember being in practice. We were playing soccer tennis with him and stuff like that. We did a fitness test together. Fitness test was crazy. That's the one thing, bro. When I went to Rennes, the first thing we did, he was like, don't worry about the cleats today. We just need the heart monitor. Once of those where I was like, man, we're gonna run. We're gonna run. Don't run like shit. We did that running, boy. The running. I fell in like the middle of the pack. Things went okay. Then went to go play like the following day, and like same thing. Like I did well. This at Rennes, I did much better. But the coach after the whole tryout, so this time the coach spoke to me. At Lille, the coach didn't speak to me and tell me what happened. So the Rennes coach came up to me. He's like, yeah, let's go have a meeting real quick. He was like, yeah, you're a good player. He's like, you're good. You get on the ball, you can dribble, you got a good left foot. But we have guys that can do that. Like we have.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. You know. So he said like you're not that much better than that guy. So you know it wasn't worth the investment, I guess, for them. Yeah. After that, bro, from then I went on like a tour. It was crazy.
Hold on. What? Mike.
We're good.
You hear that?
Now, dude.
What happened, bro?
Now it's gone.
Okay,
good.
Now it's good.
Yeah, we're good. But now we can't hear Omar.
Omar John busted, bro. What's good?
We can't hear you, boy.
Nah, my I had to charge on shit.
Oh, all right. Yeah, we good.
Yeah, but so from there, from Rennes, I went to Saint Etienne. And Saint Etienne, you know.
Aubameyang was there, right?
Yeah, during the time, yes, he was there. He might have just left, I think, right before, because I remember seeing him. But the only guy that I remember from there was that Napoli left back that's playing there, some like Algerian guy. I'm getting his last name. Yeah. But he was like the only player that I can remember. But the trial went well there. But the only thing about the Saint Etienne area, man, was like the training ground was in the woods. The dorm was like right there. You know, I was used to when I was in Marseille, at least we could drive through the city to like see things before practice. There, it was just right there. Everything, you don't go nowhere. You stay right in that little hut. And it wasn't welcome. So I didn't have like a good feeling towards it. So I ended up And my agent was like, if you can, we have, other options for you, so you can leave, and not a big deal. So I ended up leaving there. Then I came back home. And when I came back home, I had left this agent because he wasn't my official agent. So I was just working with him during that time, and it didn't work for me then. And then my dad's friend, her name is Jarcy Burfee. She knew this agent named Bruno Satin. Bruno Satin was like, at the time, a top FIFA agent. He had heard about me. And then he flew me to go try out for AS Monaco. When I went to Monaco, bro, I fly to Monaco, and I get picked up by this guy. He's holding my name card and everything. We go back to the so the players lived inside their stadium. Like, they had dorms inside their stadium.
Yeah.
And they took like buses and cars to practice, which was like located like somewhere in the mountains, bro. Bro, Monaco was different. Monaco was
Crazy out,
different.
nice.
Crazy out there. It was, every car was a Bentley, Porsche, Ferrari.
Yep.
That was a crazy experience to see that. And then at the time, who was taking me to practice? Korzua from PSG.
Man,
He was
yep.
at Monaco during the time. Yeah, he was there. He was a guy. He had this like little like hatchback Benz that we like, we ride my joke to practice. And when you go to practice, they train in like a mountain. So you're going up this like crazy mountain overlooking the sea, bro. It's the wildest thing over there. But then again, like, it was almost overwhelming for me because at that point, I was demoralized, man. Like, I've been to 4 or 5 different clubs. You know what I mean? Like, it was to a point where I didn't even want to try out because I thought I was going to get the exact same result. Like, my mentality didn't change, so I was going into the exact same way.
Right.
And at Monaco, the coach said literally the exact same words. He's like, yeah, like, you did well. Like, I had I think it was a 5-day trial. I was there from Sunday through Friday, left the following Saturday.
And that's a long trial for some standards, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's a long trial. So I had opportunities. It's not like I didn't have the chance to really prove myself. Like, I played in the practice game. Like, they had like the second team play against the U18s academy, the team that I was playing with. So I had opportunities to really show myself, but I didn't have that it factor during the time. My mentality was, I didn't have that killer instinct. That's the best way to put it. Like, I was there, like, I was enjoying being there and being able to wear the Monaco kid and all that, but like, I didn't really grab the opportunity the way that I should. And that's yeah.
When you go into a foreign land, man, you gotta be 5 times better than everybody else out there.
Crazy.
And let me say, like, for the viewers, let me pause. Maybe guys may not know who Lester Dewee is. Let me give a quick intro. Like, Lester's a baller, bro. Like,
big baller.
A big baller, bro. That left foot, man. That man was
back in the day,
busting nets. So, like, just to break it down, everybody can get into their head. Like, I fully 100% believe if you were like in the right headspace. Granted, you were young, so like you didn't know what was going on. But like when you're in the right headspace, you could have easily done well at those, much better at those tryouts. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's where the whole mental practice thing comes in. You know,
and I had no idea about that. I had no idea what that was. Like, I didn't understand why I was feeling how I was feeling. Like, looking it back now, like, now I get why I was feeling that way, and I could have took steps to prevent that, or like did things to help that.
But look, when you have your kids and they coming up from that experience, that's what you're gonna train them. They're gonna be mentally strong. You know, you can feed them that advice and stuff. Like, a lot of times we didn't get that same advice from our parents, but
it was either you play good. It was either you play good or you were whack.
Exactly.
You know, and on
you
the
know
whack
what? You might not be good enough. You might not be good enough.
For real.
As simple as that.
And on the whack days, you heard it.
How confidence plays a factor. Because when I was at PSG, I was trying out with Joel Campbell. You know who Joel Campbell is? The
Costa Rican boy.
Yeah, Costa Rican dude. He was there with his teammate, some little Costa Rican kid. We were all there, 3 of us, bro. We all shit the bed completely. They said no to Joel. They said no to his boy. But then after that, 2 years later, Joel signed for who? Arsenal, bro. Arsenal. So it just shows you that maybe there he didn't have that confidence. Yeah. But deep down inside, he's a top player. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it goes all back to that. But overall, in general, man, even through all those experiences that I, seeing all these, being around all those guys and like, seeing that type of lifestyle and that high quality soccer, I wouldn't change it for the world, even if they said no. Like I got to play with guys that you're seeing playing for PSG, and I got to be in that training circle. You know, got to make good friendships through that. So it was a great learning experience, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, man.
Most definitely, man.
How was the experience at Crystal Palace?
I forgot about that,
bro. That's just been so many places you be forgetting, bro. I don't remember.
Forgetting about that, man. Yo, when I went there, do you know who was there at that time? Who was balling? Victor Moses was the guy.
Oh, word?
Yeah. He came into the lunchroom. I was like, yo, that's Victor Moses. Like, he was balling at Crystal Palace, bro. So nasty. Yeah. Dang, yeah, Crystal Palace. But I was there with, I think, Lucas Winters and who's other? Oh, yeah, Zach Wenger. Yeah, we
Yeah.
And then my dad came along with us, and that was a whole mess of an experience, but it was cool. It was all right, man. I mean, it wasn't like a tryout thing. It was more like a go train, because I was playing for Crystal Palace USA with you, Omar, that team, right. And it was like that, like, you know, go to Crystal Palace, see how it is, but they didn't want to sign any of us. They're like, all right, cool, thanks for coming, guys. Go back.
Yeah.
But Joe, tell us about. I remember when you went to Chelsea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember that vividly.
How was that Chelsea experience?
Yeah, how was that,
this was also through YPT, man, and I remember they sent me over there. I think his name was Mick Priest, and he sent me over. It was me and my pops, and we went over there. I'm trying to remember. Did my mom and Mia come? I'm not sure. But nonetheless, maybe Mia came. Nonetheless, so we're there, and I just remember going there to Cobham. Cobham is where they trained, right? And you know, everything was just different. I think that was like my first tryout. That was my first tryout ever. And getting over there, that was when Drogba was still there, bro. Michael Essien, Makalele, you know, Ashley Cole, all them guys were there. So I went into the lunchroom, and everybody was just eating white bread and toast. White bread with toast in the morning for breakfast. Yeah, I don't know. And so bro, I was so young, man, like 13 years old. I'm just trying to piece everything together. Yeah. And I remember going to train with the U squad. I think it was like the U15s or something. Like I go in there and the dudes are like, man, who is this? You know, the English boys, they wasn't feeling it. They were like,
right.
Who is this bloke? Yeah. You know? So the first trainings, I just remember like because my dad was there. So whenever like my dad was there by me playing, I always like had this whole thing in my head, okay, like I wasn't even worried about what the coaches were going to think of me. I was like, I got to, you know, play well because I want to make my dad proud, you know?
Right.
So the first day was a little bit rough. I don't remember performing great right at the start. But then I remember we played a scrimmage, Queen's Park Rangers, and I balled out in that scrimmage.
Yeah.
Balled out in the scrimmage, man. I think I scored a couple goals. And after that game, I just remember all the guys like turned around. They were like, oh, snap. Okay, this kid ain't that bad.
Earn their respect. That's a thing. Like, once you earn the respect, they're cool with you after that.
Yeah. So the guys were cool with me. And then they let me train with the older guys. I was training with the big boys. And I just remember there was this guy there named Frank Noble. If you, I mean, it's not like a big name now, but like if you go on Wikipedia or whatever, you look up Frank Noble, like he was big back then, especially at Chelsea, bro. And you look at his rap sheet, bro, he's played everywhere in England. Like, yeah. So he was there, absolute baller, man. And yeah, dog. After that, I was training with them, and then they kind of like brought me in, man. It was just like I was one of the little homies. Then we played against Arsenal. Against Arsenal. And I had a good ass game against Arsenal as well. Like I just go in there and I'm just playing in the games, bro. And it's just like I've been there.
Do you remember any of the names on Arsenal?
Bro, I don't remember any of the names, man. I'm 13 years old, you know? Right. Like, I'm not even thinking of any of these kids as different than me, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I had a good game. And then, you know, my pops is there. Obviously, he's super happy. He's like, gets everybody together. Take a picture. So, like, we take a picture. I remember, who did I take a picture with?
I think it's some Ghanaian dude, bro. I remember you took a picture with some big black dude.
Yeah.
Who was that,
On the
bro?
youth team, but his name was Mark. His name was Mark, but I don't know his name. But he was like with the U14s at the time. And yeah, man. After that, then they went to my dad and they were like, man, we really want to sign your son. Like Chelsea was like, yo, we're trying to make it happen. Like, we really want this shit to happen. And I was 13, bro. So they're like, in order for him to come over here, you guys got to relocate. And it was one of those things like, my parents can't just move over for their 13-year-old son, just throw their life away in America just for that. You know what I mean? Right. So, you know, and like just going into the trainings, I remember like, you know, going over there, I was a little bit nervous because it was just so new. And like, I grasped it. I knew I was at Chelsea, but like I didn't know the gravity of the situation, you know, not till when I look back and I look at the pictures sometime on Facebook, I'm like, yeah, like I was out there, bro.
The Chelsea youth dominate Europe, bro.
Bruh.
They dominate.
Chelsea, yo.
That shit was so crazy now that I think about it. Like they took us out like, and then you know they like you. Once you get over there and you play well, and then they started driving us around, giving us tours of the whole damn London, bro. Like they pick us up at the hotel in the morning, give us breakfast, drive around, sightseeing, drop us back off, give us money to eat, all of that stuff, bro.
Crazy. They're treating y'all good over there, boy.
Telling you, that's lit. That's lit.
Yeah. That's a crazy experience, man. Chelsea,
but it's crazy, like when I think about it, man. A lot of those people that grow up in England and France, man, they got it good. They got it good, especially young ballers, because they grow up right in the academies.
It's such an advantage, man. It's such an advantage.
It's an advantage. But like, not to discredit any guys that are over there, because just as it is an advantage, there's so many players over there as well, bro. Right. Imagine how many players England could have in their national team, bro. Like just wingers, strikers, like the amount of competition is crazy.
Yeah, bro. England, France is the same deal, bro. France,
everywhere.
Talent. Yeah, everywhere. Spain, Germany, Italy, like you name it, bro. Ballers everywhere, man. Like it's actually crazy. Like, and when I think about a little bit back about my like Marseille experience too, like as Joe said, like I didn't understand the gravity. When I went to Marseille, I didn't even know about Marseille. Yeah. Like I didn't even know anything about the club. Like I thought it was just some random club in France. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like I had no idea about the stature, who played there, who was playing there, until years after. I'm like, oh shit, like
yeah. One of the best African players ever played for them. Abedi Pele, man.
Yeah,
won Champions Leagues and everything.
Bro. Yeah, both of his sons were there. Jordan and Andre. They both played there. But it's crazy because even like in Marseille, like as I don't know if they do this in Germany, Joe, but they have like an open training policy. So like in Bordeaux, I remember like fans would just come and watching our practice. Like they're allowed to just sit there and just chill and watch. You know, like you'll get sometimes on like a Friday practice, like a good 200-300 people coming just to watch you practice, bro.
Yeah, man.
Which is crazy.
I remember.
So that was a cool experience.
Now I have a question for both of y'all, since y'all you know, you guys had a lot of trials in Europe and much of different countries and everything. Were you guys able to did you guys tell that there was a difference in playing styles wherever you went? Could you guys tell that?
You want to go first?
I mean, I could start. I mean, I think honestly, soccer is a universal language. So I don't feel like everywhere that I went, it was the same thing. Like there wasn't really anything different. The only thing that was different was maybe one or two super exceptional players. But besides that, like there wasn't really like a, you know, like, oh, this group was more like one touch, two touch. Here they played more physical. No, it was good players amongst good players.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't notice a difference in style of play, man. Granted, I'm 13, 14. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just like,
No, for real.
I gotta go out here and play good. That's it. I gotta go out here and play good, you know? Just like
all right, well,
wait,
all
what?
right, now that you're an adult, you're still playing in the leagues.
Yeah.
You're in the MLS. You just came from Germany.
Yeah.
And you played in France as well, right?
Leicester?
No, Joe was just in Germany.
I was just in Germany.
Germany. Okay, so now the German league compared to the MLS, what's the difference?
Just like the structure and the tactics of it is just totally different. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was 17 going over there to Germany, just like having to get the tactics down packed. Like, you can't be too spread out. You know what I'm saying? The ball's over here. You gotta be like this. The distance between the center back and the striker is like 40 yards, 35 yards. It's gotta be like this all the time. Unit, you know? And then as soon as that ball is played into that zone, it's like, you know, dense. And then as opposed to MLS, it's a little bit different, you know. It's like a little bit ISO football because you got a lot of Central Americans, South Americans. So the league is a little bit different. It's like counterattack football, a little bit more space. You know what I mean? Those are some of the differences.
That kind of favors you, though, for real. That kind of favors you.
That's what I'm saying.
You
so
go at music now. Yeah, you can go at music nonstop.
So I bang with it.
Nah, for real though.
I think that's like what you just described there with the German system, how everything was compact. Like they really like looked at the distances of everything. I think that's why they left Leroy Sané out of the German squad for the World Cup, because he's more of a player that likes to have space, likes to go at people, and he did not fit the German system. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
because I agree. Omar.
I agree. Because at Man City, especially that season, he was just on the touchline. You know, he had the paint on his boots. He was just out there on the wing. Right. And, you know, in that German system, you can't just be holding that one spot forever.
Right. And the coach doesn't care if like you can be like the best player, but if you don't follow that system,
yeah, man, it's a dub. It's no good.
You're not gonna play, bro. Like you can try to like bypass that all you want, but you're not gonna play the tactics. And I know in the program is more. I know, like, you know, youth academy stuff, we didn't really experience it like that. But in the pro ranks, man, the tactics matter a lot.
So what we're going to go into was how do you guys feel like the environment we all grew up in, how do you think that prepared us, you know, for the world and our endeavors? What do y'all think?
I'll go first.
You can start, Mark.
Obviously I didn't play as long as you guys played. I stopped playing like seriously when I was done with high school for real. Yeah. But I took a lot of stuff from soccer and the stuff that my dad taught me and applied it to my regular life, you know. I put it this way: go 5 times harder than the competition. Yeah. And that's I take that and I apply that to my regular. When I'm at work, bro, if I go start a new job, I look around like I'm gunning for their spots, you know. Yeah. I want to get to the top. I don't want to just be there and be content with where I'm at. I want to take it to the next level. I want to get paid higher. So I apply that to life, you know. And you know, in soccer we had a lot of exercise drills, a lot of sprinting drills and everything, and we had to push ourselves to the limit. Yeah. And I take those lessons and I apply it to my everyday life. That's basically it, man. It's as simple as that.
No, I can like, you know, as you said, bro, and I think having African parents too, like they, you know, have high expectations. You know what I mean? Like anything less than, I would say, perfection is not okay. Like they're kind of thinking about it. Like I remember, like there'll be games where, you know, that one that I mentioned about Joe and I playing. And then there was one time with my dad. I remember we had a game. I thought I played well and like I scored a couple goals and I'm getting in the car excited just to talk about the game. And this guy points out everything that I did wrong before even saying, oh, that was a nice goal or you did this. Like the first thing that came to his mind was, yeah, that was good, but you did X. all this stuff back. You have to change all this to become. If you want to become that top player that you say you want to become, then that has to change. So he like gave me that, like, I guess, that tough love spirit to, shoot the highest that I can.
Yeah. Nah, man. Agree 100%. I mean, I just know how all our dads used to just talk after games and practices, bro, for hours. Hours, just breaking down everything, breaking down every little thing. And then, just they wanted us to execute.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They wanted us to execute. And, we're young boys, so we just take that and run with it and try to do the best that we can, But still, even at that time, like, it was just black and white, It was like, if I play good, then it's good. But if I play bad, then damn, it's bad. But I didn't know the gray area in between. I wasn't able to control when I could have a good game and when I could have a bad game, It would always go to, if the first couple touches in the game were bad, then it was going to be a bad game. I already knew. It was going to be a bad game. I could already hear
literally,
the car ride home. I was like,
going in. And funny, and even if in your head, if you thought you had a good game, when you get back to that car, so like
you're gonna hear the reality of it.
You thought you had a good game, you scored a couple goals, but the rest of the game you playing shit. You were making bad passes. You weren't playing with confidence. All of that.
Yeah.
So our parents, I feel like us having African parents, they broke it down to us the straight way. They didn't beat around the bush or anything. They gave it to us straight. Even if we had a good game, they told us what we need to work on. And I think that benefited us in life. And I know a lot of kids, they go home and they go into Chuck E. Cheese after the game. They have we got I mean, we had fun when we were younger, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But our parents gave it to us straight, man. They were not beating around the bush, none of that. Oh, it's okay, Joey, you'll do better next time. None of that. We got it to
bro. My dad used to say stuff like, if you don't play good, you're not gonna eat. like
Hey, bro, and that's
like wild stuff. I'm dead ass though. I'm not even joking. Like, I put on everything. Like, he'll make comments like that. I'm like, damn. Like,
it's funny that you say that.
Hey,
like,
Dave,
it's funny that you say that, because I don't know if you watching the Last Dance, the Michael Jordan series. He told one of his teammates, like, yo, you can't eat if you play, like, at practice, you play bad, you can't eat after the game, bro.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
like, it's different, bro.
So it teaches you a level of accountability.
Exactly.
Accountability. So, like, if I play bad, I'm not gonna go back and be like, oh man, my teammate, he was doing that wrong, or it taught me to just look at myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, look at you first before I start, blaming other things on other people. You know what I mean? So I take that into consideration every time I play,
Sorry. I just want to add this real quick. Do you guys think that growing up, like, around, like, all competitive high level players helped our motivation too, though? Because growing up with playing with Joe, playing with you, Omar, playing with all these guys, like, I also inside I had to perform just because I wanted to be able to hang. You know what I mean? Like, it was such a competitive thing about it, bro. Like, our group of players that we played with, it kind of forced us to push ourselves too.
Yeah.
Forced us, and we're all playing with Caribbean guys, the Goose, Latino guys from, like, the gutter, guys who had that grit, that fight in them. So I think that played a big part.
That definitely played a big part in how we played the game and how we practiced, because practices were intense, bro.
Intense.
They were super intense. I remember I played in the midfield, center mid, and Benga played in the midfield as well. So me and Benga used to go at it hard every single practice.
Benga,
and that's my brother, man. But we went hard, like we wanted to have
I remember.
And like, I feel like you need that type of competition and practice to get to the next level.
Yeah.
You don't understand how many one-on-ones Joe and I played where we were just, like, about to break each other's ankles.
Bro.
Bro, you don't remember the practice we do 1-on-1, yo, and like Joel would shit on me, Les would shit on me. You know how mad I used to get, bro? You know how mad I used to get, bro? As soon as I get in that car, my dad just be like shaking his head. Bro.
Hey, man.
That practice was serious, man.
Yo,
so going hard.
Literally, we used to do 1-on-1s for an hour. Short run and then do 1-on-1s.
Yeah.
Hour. Boom. At it. Going at it.
Yep. And that's like, that definitely, I would say that definitely prepared me for when I went overseas, because like I would play so aggressive, bro. Like even in the practices, people would be telling me like, "Yo, chill," like, and I'm like, "What? This is regular."
Yeah, right. What do you mean?
It's no chill, man. This is regular. Like I'm doing stiff arms to the face and stuff like that.
Hey,
like,
gotta make it. You gotta do your thing.
Gotta make it shake.
How you live, man.
And I just feel like us, especially being in an area where it's like so diverse, you know, you got, like you were saying, you got the Latinos, you got Caribbeans, you got Africans, you got a lot of different type of economic situations, man.
Right.
It was just like you were able to see everything firsthand, and I think that like made us well-rounded young people.
For sure. And it was kind of like we were good enough to kind of think about that pro vision, and I think that motivated too. Because it's not like we were just playing. We're playing with the purpose to become pros. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that also added a little bit of more fire to us. But I was just thinking about this too. Like there was mad times where my dad and I would get into a, argument after the game. And I'll say, bro, I can't tell you the amount of times that I've quit. Yeah. Quote unquote quit. Tell my dad, yo, dad, I quit. Forget this. Like you keep arguing with me, bet I quit. I hate this. I quit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think
over 50 times, bro.
Right, literally, yeah.
I quit a lot.
I think that's the case. I think like real talk though, I think that's the case for a lot of guys, you know what I mean? To where like, you know, sometimes you still gotta realize like it's a game, you know what I mean? And I think that type of stuff sticks with you.
It does.
You know, as to where you start, like when you went to France and you start overthinking things, you know what I mean?
Big time, yeah.
Like
big
time. It stems from like small things like that, you know. I just remember, you know, like the critiques and everything, it just made me over critique myself at times. And I mean, a lot of times that can happen even without your parents being there, you know, but just like
for sure
over critiquing, and it just starts like, it's like a hourglass, you know, how it just gets full over time, just one little bead going in, and then after a while it just starts piling up. So you gotta be able to. So I remember my dad used to tell me like, take it with a grain of salt, you know, a short memory, like that's key, you know, forgetting things quick.
That's so key. That was my biggest issue. It was that I would think about one mistake for like 10 minutes. And during that 10-minute period, the rest of my game is shaky. You know what I mean? Like I'm like afraid to ask for the ball during the time. I'm afraid to get in those spots because I was like, dang, like I just got the ball I just lost it. Keep the ball away from me. You know, that was a huge confidence killer, man. Huge confidence.
No, Joe, like when you speak on that, like I think when I played the best, that's when I had that mentality. Like it was like U16 playing for DC United. I was coming straight from PSA, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm about to jump right into the team. These folks put me in a developmental squad in preseason. Yeah. So I worked my ass off, bro. I was clapping people in practice, all of that. Yeah. And I was a starter by the time the season started. I was a starter. I was playing every single game, every single minute of every single game. Yeah. I got called up. I played up a year above. We went to this tournament in Disney. We played Chelsea, all those guys.
Isn't that where you broke your leg?
That's where I broke my shin.
Yeah.
So like
your shin.
When I was at my best, when I was performing at my best level, that's when I had a bad injury, and I tried to come back too early from that injury, and I ended up being out for a whole year. And at that point, I didn't really have the guidance. My dad was in Sierra Leone at the time. I didn't really have no guidance. I didn't have the same motivation coming back into the game. And when I came back into the team, the team was already kind of set. We had moved back up. We had moved because developmental. Right. The academy league was U16, then U18.
Yeah.
We went to the U18s. They already had a team established. They had who were the guys on that team? I don't know. Anyways, they already had an established team.
Yeah.
So I had to come back and start all over again, and I didn't have that same desire, that same motivation to take it to the next level. That's ultimately where my game ended. I got some lower Division I schools, D2, D3 schools offers. But my pride at the time, I'm looking at these guys like, yo, I'm better than these guys. Why are they going to the top schools?
Right.
And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go to school for education, man, because I was a smart kid too. That's one thing my dad instilled in me from a young age, bro.
Yeah.
I had to be getting good grades. I got good grades from elementary all the way through college. So I'm lucky I had that background. A lot of people don't have that. Like once they done, that's it.
Bro, it's a fact. It's a fact. That's good though, bro. That's definitely good. I mean, for me, school was like so secondary, man, because all the time that I spent traveling, I remember, I think I missed my entire 8th grade year, half my 8th grade year. I had to do it while I was in France and stuff like that. So that's the one thing that I regret. I mean, not really regret that. I guess I kind of missed out on was proper education at a young age, at least. Now I'm back in school, which is cool and all, but that fundamental stuff I missed, bro, completely due to all the traveling. And my dad, he was more so just, yo, if you want to play it, you want to make it. Forget about school. You can go to school later. That was his mentality. He just wanted for me to sign that pro deal, and boom, now we live in a lavish lifestyle. So
I don't know if it was you or Joe. I didn't have much experience with Coach Emil, but y'all told me that he said something that stuck with my head. He was like, it's either 100% school or 100% football. I don't know who told me that. It was one of y'all, but that stuck in my head. And that's really is what it is at the end of the day. If you're gonna focus on something, you gotta focus on it all the way.
Yeah,
sure. But nowadays, I think that's changed though, because there's a huge emphasis on school now. School is they want you to go to school, at least in America. And in Europe, it's still that whole pattern is still the same. But here, man, it's
it's different. So you gotta go to university.
You gotta go to university. You gotta play. You gotta do that.
Gotta go to university, man.
Can you go straight from high school into the MLS?
Yeah, if you sign with the academy.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're with the academy, you can go.
Joe, do you wish that you got an opportunity to play a year of college ball? You ever think about that?
Yeah, I think about it sometimes. Just to when I look back at some of the things that I missed out on, just that whole social aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the whole social aspect of being in college. You meet a lot of different sports players. You meet a lot of different kids from different walks of life and things like that. Certain things. Sometimes I feel like I missed out on prom and homecoming.
We missed everything. I never been to a prom. I never been to homecoming.
Exactly.
I never been to any of that. I never been to a graduation. I never graduated with my class at any level.
Yeah, I got my thing online.
Same here.
Things of that sort. I don't say I wish I went to college, but just to have that experience, it would have been cool to have. You know what I mean?
Sure, man. Imagine if you went to Maryland. That would have been crazy. Well, at Maryland.
I know Lester used to be up here with me hanging out.
God, bro. I was a damn near student.
Hell yeah, bro. You and Bush, bro. Y'all was basically students.
Man, when my injury happened and I was just home, man, I was just up College Park seeing the soccer guys every weekend.
Up here a lot too.
Yeah, bro. Those guys, all those guys were up there, man. That was the time during when Ethan White was there, Joe. Ethan White, Matt Olderon. They got on that. They had a bunch. Rodney Wild. They had a crazy team.
Had a crazy squad. But yeah, man. Those are, I think, but missing out on that, I think those were just some of the sacrifices that, that I had to make. I mean, I guess nowadays, if you don't want to go to Europe, then you don't have to sacrifice those things. But like
Right.
when you're jumping into it and you want to make that jump to Europe, you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to miss out
You
on a
have
lot
to be
of things.
prepared for what's in Europe. Like,
Yeah.
you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. Like,
Yeah.
I know we spoke about this a lot of time, but like going into a locker room and speaking a completely different language, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know nobody over there. You're by yourself, bro. It's it's way different. Like, it takes
Yeah.
a real strong person to come out of that environment like on top. Like,
Yeah.
it'll eat you alive, man, because those guys are testing you. Like, those young guys, even though they're young, 13, 14,
They know what's going on. Yeah. They
Well,
know what's
at the
going
end of
on.
the day, they're looking at you guys coming in trying to take their spot. So they're gonna make you uncomfortable off the jump.
Of course.
For
You know, and
sure.
I get a lot of kids that always tell me like, "Yo, do you have any advice for me so I can go pro, or do you have anything? Can you tell me?" Like, there's no one thing that I can tell anybody that's gonna prepare you for what you're gonna jump into. You know what I mean? All I can tell you is that you gotta be able to adjust, and
Yeah.
you gotta be willing to be tested to your limits. You know what I mean? Got to be willing to be tested to your limits. And
You will get tested. You will get tested a lot.
for all the young boys, sometimes when you go out on trials, I remember on some of my trials, like the first days, I would go out there and like how you saying you did that weak foot drill. Like there would be some drills where I'd be partnered up with a guy, and the guy would purposely give me bad passes. You know,
Yeah.
throw the ball at my head when it's to my chest and
Right.
do crazy stuff, and the ball right when the coach comes and the ball will bounce away, and then in my head I'm like, yo, what? But like they know exactly what they're doing, the ball bouncing over, and all the coach sees is the ball bouncing away, and you're gonna be like, hey, look at this fool. What's this fool doing over here wasting my time? And and now when I look back on it, now when I'm on those teams and I see a new kid coming in, you're like on the other side of the spectrum. So then I see how the guys are looking at the guy like, man, who is this fool coming in here? Like, yo, he ain't gonna make it anyway. That's what I've been thinking. Like, he ain't gonna make it anyway. First mistake you make, guys are gonna jump on your back. Don't give him the ball. What's this guy doing?
Bro,
yeah.
At you.
Hey,
Like, what you doing?
Hey. Anything to just try and throw you off a little bit, they're gonna do it. Best believe.
It will shock your system. Like, that's like that will wake you up. Like, quick. When those guys, I remember the ball once, bro. They are on my back, screaming, yelling at me, and that's what made me like high. Cause I'm like, damn, I don't want the ball no more. Like, for the get the ball,
Man.
and then when we played games, like 66 games,
Yeah.
they would not give me the ball. Not give me the ball. I'd be sprinting in position, asking for the ball, screaming. They rather dribble it and lose it or pass to somebody else before they pass it. It took, as Joe said,
homies.
And like Joe said, how do you prepare for that? There's no way to prepare for that.
There's no way to prepare for it. You just gotta jump in head first, bro.
Head first, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. Like growing up where we grew up, it prepared me already. Like it was to hang around with us, you had to have tough skin, bro. Guys were joning all the time. Talk trash. Guys fighting. You know, like, you know what I mean? You had to have tough skin.
You got to, bro.
So when I went over there, it wasn't nothing for me to stand my ground. It wasn't nothing for me to stick up for myself. You know what I'm saying? Just because of what I was used to.
Right.
But for everybody's situation, it may be different. Now you may go over there and guys aren't like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about what happened to me. That's
definitely real, man. I mean, every club is a different experience. I mean, every club that I've been to was something, not in the play that was different, but in the, like, I guess the philosophy of how, like, they did things. Everything was different. So I had to learn something new each time. You know what I mean? Like a new way to handle myself, a new way to do this, the way to carry myself. Every club had a different way to do things. And I think that's cool too, because now, like, you're not knowing it, but you're growing as a person and you're not even realizing it. You have to adjust to different situations. You have to know how to, like talk to players. You gotta know how to like deal with the coaches. You gotta know how to handle yourself. Everything matters, man. The way that you like, bro, they will analyze you. Like these guys, the coaches, the players, they will read. They will read everything about you before you step on that field.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to handle that too.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you'll get in your head.
And what I was gonna say was like knowing how to deal with players and coaches. You know, being a young player, especially if you've never been exposed to a situation where you jump into a situation and you have like a hard coach. You know, some guys will be like, "Oh, the coach hates me," or you react a certain way, things like that. Like some coaches play mind games like that. Like they'll put you on the bench to see how you react. And if you react wild, that's that confirmation right there. You know what I mean? Like being able to read certain situations and being a coachable player. That's what I wanted to touch on. Coachability goes a long way, man. A long way. I know a lot of people that are like unwavering in their ways. They want to play one way and they want to do it just like that, no matter what the coach say, you know, because they're on YouTube watching Neymar videos 24/7 and they see Neymar doing it. That's Neymar.
Right, you know, bro.
You're not Neymar. Leave that to, there's only one Neymar. There's only one Ronaldo. Like, if you can get yourself to that level where you're at an undeniable state and you're busting that like that, then you can do that. But until you get to that point, you got to be coachable, because a coach is going to take a guy that can take direction, that can adapt to the system, that will work for the team, before he's going to take some rambunctious fool that's a locker room problem.
Right.
Gotta understand it.
And talent doesn't matter there either, bro. I'm a perfect example.
Yeah.
You know, but as a young kid, I was okay. But when I went to like the pro ranks, you know, I thought I already earned everything, and I was so uncoachable, and that like haunted me, because even though I was like clearly the best player on the field, the coach, you know, thought that my energy would affect the other players too. So it wasn't worth starting me if I was gonna have 3 other players have a bad game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he had to put me to the side of the guys who he was able to communicate with, talk to, and let those guys play, while he was just waiting for me to see if I was gonna change my attitude.
Yeah.
So
man,
being coachable is key, bro. Being coachable is and a lot of young guys need to understand that, man, because I don't think that's one thing that I think they're missing out on, is that got to be very, very coachable.
Yeah.
You got to know how to take instruction. Got to know how to be a good teammate.
Yeah.
You know, you got to know how to talk to your teammates. Because I play with guys, man, that I hated. Just because of the way that they carry themselves. Egos, big egos, thinking they're the man and all that stuff. Like, nah, that's not going to help you.
Got to put that to the side. What you about to say, Omar?
Yeah, Joe, just to touch on what you were saying about coaches testing you. Like I said, like I shared this earlier. When I played my best, I was at DC United at U16, and the coach at that time was Richie Burke. I thought he hated my guts, man. He used to yell this, that, this, but he ended up getting the best out of me, man. He ended up getting the best out of me. And a lot of people, when coaches yell at them like that, they fold. They fold. They don't know what to do, or they switch teams. But for like the youth players out there, the youngins, if a coach is yelling at you, man, just take what he's taking, take what he's telling you, and just like turn that into trying to develop your game.
Yeah.
You know, working your butt off, and they're gonna notice that. If you going out there and you're performing at practice day in, day out, those coaches are gonna notice that, and they're gonna like how you react to those mind games.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
you can't show that attitude. You gotta get rid of that bad.
Don't show attitude. Don't say, you know what, get this. Like, don't yell back at the coach. That's the worst thing you can do.
Worst thing you can do, man. I remember, you know, one of my first things when I was in a residency, you know, my coach was Omar Kabba, man, and he was always on my back, man, always on my back. You know, if I did something, he would make me write something 500 times front and back on a piece of paper, and I got to turn it back in. You know, he used to get on my back, man. And I was always like, man, what's good with this guy? Why is he always doing this?
Right.
You know? Because I was like a little clown back in the day. Y'all know me. I was always like to laugh, joke around.
Yeah.
And he used to just get on me. But that kind of like I didn't know if he liked me at the time. But like, I just took that energy and I just started working on my game to where I became one of his go-to guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I was one of his go-to guys, like Nike friendlies. Like, I was starting, I was doing all of that. And even after I left residency.
You were killing, bro. You were killing it.
I know.
Roasting. I was at the game against Brazil, boy. I was right there.
Me too, bro.
Yeah.
I held up the DC United. I held up the bus because I was like, no, I'm trying to finish the game. Was it Coutinho? Coutinho was playing at that point. Neymar.
Coutinho. They were all playing, man. Yeah.
Joe was going crazy with that speed. They couldn't handle the speed, bro.
Yeah,
I had no idea how to contain my man.
Bro, Coutinho had one of the nastiest touches I seen in the game. The goalie punted it. The ball came, he like weak left foot, just tapped it right to the side. I was like, yo, this is different. He
was refined even at
I thought he was the man on the team, to be honest.
He was. At that time, Coutinho was the number one. Neymar was still a boss, but Coutinho was the dude.
Coutinho was crazy, man.
It's crazy.
Shoot, I would argue that Stephon Jerome was up there too, though. Steph.
Dino. It's like, nah. He'll get mad if you hear that, bro. Steph was the man, bro. Yeah.
What happened to him?
He was cooking during that game too. I remember that. Steph, I don't know.
He played in the Czech Republic for a bit, you know. Then he went back to Florida, man. You know.
I think it was injuries though, bro.
Injuries, yeah.
Or
Injuries, man. But coachability, it's a big thing, man. You know, especially when you're competing in a high level sport in Europe. You know, if a coach senses a bad attitude, man, doesn't matter how good you are, bro.
Look at Balotelli, man. Take Balotelli.
That was a great example, man.
Great example.
That was my idol growing up. You already know how much I love Balotelli. I changed my name to Balotelli. Like, I love Balotelli, bro. Like, that was like my guy. So like,
great example,
he's been
man.
through it. He's a great example of someone whose career has derailed just due to his attitude,
man. Bad attitude. Look what he did in the Man City friendly when they came to America. I think it was against LA Galaxy.
Yeah, that back.
Man was in front of the goal and tried to backheel it into the net.
That was crazy, bro. Oh, it's crazy.
Very crazy.
Yeah. But all right, man. That is episode 3 with the bros. We'll be seeing you guys episode 4 next week. Tune in.
Alrighty.
Let's get it.
Yeah, that was good convo. Good convo.